What do you want? Oh, stop it, Billy. We share. Welcome to the 10-Acre Woods. My name is Mark, and I'm just preparing some treats for the animals. So it's a cold, rainy day outside, rains off and on. So I'm planning a couple projects that I'll be working inside. But for this video, I figured we had a platter from last weekend's wedding, lots of leftovers. And I figured, well, I'll take them out to the animals. We did have some vegetables dropped off as well. Thank you to all that brought by your extra veggies from your gardens. So I'm just kind of chopping them up and getting things all ready, and then we'll head out and give them some treats, some fresh grains. And then I figured we'd go over feeding. So I've had quite a few people ask about feeding and what we feed them and what they should eat, and a couple other questions. One thing I wanted to mention, I don't know, like there's been a few things in the paper. This one was nice. Everybody's Happy Place. So it was a newspaper article that was done up by the Winnipeg Free Press about our farm, and unfortunately it's the Town and Country, so it didn't circulate throughout the city of Winnipeg. So there's 650,000 people that didn't have the opportunity to see that. But it was a nice article all the same. Something else that happened fairly recently is Expedia.ca. They went and did a poll to 1,200 Canadians as to what is the best hands-on experience in Canada. And sure enough, we made the list. So Enola, Manitoba, and we were right up there with Calgary, Alberta, and Cambridge and Kitchener, Ontario, a lot of larger cities. So that was really nice. So I'm just going to finish up here, and then we'll go out and sit with the animals and give them some greens and go over all the feeding regimens that we do here on the farm. Okay. So before we head out, I don't know if I've actually introduced you to Nix. Nix is very interested in the fruit platter, or the vegetable platter I made up, obviously. What is that? Now, we do animal rescue. We mainly do farm animal rescue. But from time to time, we'll bring in a cat or dog, put it in isolation, try to find the owners. And if we can't, then we'll rehome as necessary or take into a proper shelter. Nix actually came in. She was a kitten in January, and she was actually found hogtied, so she didn't have any fur around her legs. Somebody had tied twine around and hogtied her and thrown her in a ditch. Very cruel. Somebody had found her and brought her to us, which was wonderful, and she is an excellent cat. Now, we had a cat a few years ago, and we had to put him down. He just got old, and he wasn't doing very well. So it was a sad time, but Tiana, our 17-year-old daughter, took a liking to Nix, and instead of sending her off, we decided, well, I guess it's time for another cat. So Tiana named Nix after the Greek goddess of night. And one interesting thing is working with animal shelters. We did take in a pregnant cat and had young we fostered in the spring, and we had a couple black ones in there. And the guy who is in charge, well, Darcy of Darcy's Ark in the city of Winnipeg, when I told him about the colors of the cats, and I said, well, one of them or two of them are black, and he kind of, oh, well, that's unfortunate. So I asked him about that, and apparently black cats, because of superstition, people just don't want black cats. Now, was that the case with little Nix here? We just don't know. But she is very happy and healthy here with us. And of course, me going to bed, she always jumps up on my bed. Oh, it's time for bed. And if you ever have a cat, you'll know that they just do whatever they want. And she tends to just climb up and lie on my face. And apparently during the night, Tara will look over at me and I'll have a cat on my head. All right, we're gonna try this and see what kind of chaos we can bring to the barn. Everybody's looking at me. Okay, I'm probably just gonna have to put this down. Hannibal's right here. And Blackie. And we will soon have others. Okay? Just hang on, Hannibal. You want a piece of broccoli, Lambert? Lambert. Okay, what about everybody else? Come here, alpacas. Come here, pacas. Come on. They're probably too short. Okay. Well, let's see here. I'll probably just sprinkle it on the ground. So, hang on, guys. Let me see. What am I going to do? I'm going to save a little bit for the alpaca. Now, that's just a plastic container. I'm going to save these, I think, for the alpacas. Now, you want to make sure when you're feeding that they're cut up into smaller wedges. I have cut these ones up into smaller wedges. All right. Ready? Chaos. Let the chaos commence. Okay, here we go. I wasn't going to attempt to sit there and be mauled by these animals. All right, so the pigs got up and they are eating their carrots, mostly carrots down here, along with Petunia, Blackie, and Snow. Oh, Lucy. Oh, and here we go. Okay. Here, whoops, sorry. That was my bad. Yeah, that's just a container. I'm trying to put it down. Here, Shanzi. Okay, I'll go over. Here. Here, Shanzi. Yes, here. You don't want an apple? Did Barry want an apple? He says, what is that? Oh, you dropped it. Here's a new one. There you go. How about you, Paula? You got your mouth full, though. You want... Look how polite. She doesn't shove more food in her mouth with her. But Barry, he's all about it. Okay. He's not the Barry. Oh, here, Shanzi. No. Oh, what? I thought you guys would have liked this. Okay, Lucy. Lucy. Hey, Lucy, right here. Look. Oh, you guys are picky. How about Petunia? She's gonna eat it. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So animals can be picky. Snow. Here. You want one, Snow? Want an apple? There you go. Okay. Who else? All right. I got one here. Here, Paula. Here. No. Well, okay. Well, I had some cucumbers, but you guys didn't go over there. Barry will eat it. No? I know who will eat it. I know who will eat it. Hannibal will eat it. Won't you, buddy? Did you finish everything? I was setting up the camera in here, trying to get... Here, let me get that. Trying to get a good angle. And, of course, I was cutting up some apples, and I didn't wash my hands. So, of course, there's Hannibal and Patches right there. Okay, so what do we got left? I see a carrot and yeah, a couple carrots. The carrots aren't as popular, but you guys are doing a good job clearing things out. Yep. All right, the pigs got their feed. I think everybody is pretty much happy. So what I want to just mention with feeding animals, because that's what this video is about, is so these are some greens. You don't want to overdo it. So moderation is key, just like humans. You want to make sure that they're not overdosing on vegetables and greens. Their poop can get runny, so you just want to, especially tomatoes. Tomatoes, I did check out some research because they're very acidic. I was a little concerned, but studies show that it has no effect on their poop up to, I think it's 50 grams per kilogram of animal, something to that effect. All right, I think you guys are done. So we're going to go up and give the ponies, Carl and Billy, some treats. And now just a quick little shot in here we have, so I mentioned we were putting up Christmas lights, and this is really nice in the evening. When it's dark outside, we come out and there's a nice glow in here. Just so Christmassy, I guess, because they are Christmas lights or holiday lights. This area here I have to patch, so it was cutting around our pole for the electrical, and I've got some flashing that I'm going to hook up on there. I'm not overly concerned with it at the moment, but I just want to make sure that things get taken care of before winter. So the straw. This straw is from the wedding that we had last weekend. They used the straw bales as seating. So they donated, of course, that back to us. They have no use for it in the city. So we're going to use that out here as bedding. And also we were contacted by a company, actually it's in the RM of Springfield, but it's just inside the city limits, the Winnipeg city limits. And they are a recycling company, and what they do is they contacted us and they said we're getting into recycling and making animal bedding. So they'd like to donate to us, and we thought, okay, well that's great, yeah, no, perfect. And from what I understand, what it is, it's essentially a fine mulch. It's shredded down into a mulch material that is a bedding. So for sure, we'll use that in here, and then out into this area, since we have the new pond area. We have a lot of gravel on here, so there's not a lot of the humus layer or the dirt layer. And that's going to help out. Using this material when we clean out the barn in the spring, all this material and bedding and that has poop and everything in it is great to go out into this area. Tara has seeded the area. I believe she seeded it so that we can at least start to get some grass growing in this area. You'll notice we have multiple feeding stations here, and I pointed this out in a previous video. So we've got 3 feeding stations here. This works great, not perfect. As you can see, there is some hay on the ground along with the straw. So what happens here, well, generally the larger animals will pick out at the top, but the goats and the sheep will pick out in this area here. So it's a little bit cleaner, and they pull out what they need. Example. There we go. So this is Bronwyn. She is she's doing fantastic. Still, it's going to be it's going to be a year before we see any kind of friendliness. She is still a little spooked, but there are some people that come visit that have been able to pet her. So who knows? She may surprise us. Now, these areas here are, of course, bedding, so this is where they're going to go. The pigs have their pile. And we didn't put the pile here. What happens is the pigs will go and they'll pull material up and they'll make a bed in this area. These windows essentially are incomplete, so one of the projects that we're doing is we're going to have a plexiglass opening on here that will hinge out, so that'll be done before winter. And I was just looking into barn gates. Well, we'll probably build our own door, I should say, not gate. But it's the rail that runs along the top. So this, I've got to measure it, but I believe this is a 10-foot opening here. So we're going to have a 20-foot bar that goes across with 2 doors. One's going to slide that way, and one's going to slide this way on an overhead, they call it a cannon-style system. And so, and that's out here. So a question that was asked, Coco has them. Oh, Hannibal. No, I have none left, buddy. There, you gonna sniff? These here. So what are these? I don't know if you can get a good picture of that. But Patches, come here. You're a lighter color. You're a little easier. And here they are here. So these are, they're called wattles. Oh, she loves her wattles being rubbed, don't you, Patches? And what it has no actual purpose. There's one on each side, and it was said that they, during their evolution, at one time they may have been some kind of gland, but it's just decoration now, isn't it? Isn't it, Patches? Now there's a 50% chance that they will have them. Actually, Blackie has them. Coco has them. Petunia does not have them. Oh, sorry guys, did I get too close, or is that the rooster? Oh, ruining the nap. The guineas seem unfazed. Just loud. Is it raining, guys? Is it raining? Are you warning us of rain? Okay, so feed, getting into the feed, what to feed them, the hay. So you want to look at, it's generally called a horse hay. And you can tell by the nice green nature of it. It has, I think this stuff here has some alfalfa mixed in with it. And what you can tell, basically the color of it is one of the main things. If you get just a kind of a straw looking, like a lighter color, it's usually just wild grass that they do up. And it's not as good. They don't like it as much. They can be very picky, as you have seen. The other thing is oats and grains. So oats and grains, they don't need it, and again, it's in moderation. Now, with sheep and goats, if you go and you give them grains, a bowl of grains, a container of grains, they will eat it, and they'll eat it, and they'll eat it. But what happens is, no, ow! It's not, yes, my finger smells like apples. But what happens is, when it gets into their gut, it expands out, and they can't burp up and reprocess. So they can actually die of what's called bloat. Okay, so we want to make sure that you guys are away from the grains. So they do get grains for treats every once in a while. People have one. It's called it's called many things. It's called goat sweet. It's called 60-30-10. But essentially what it is it's mixed grains with molasses. And molasses is sweet, and they definitely don't need that. We did use that for the first few years, thinking that, oh, well, this is what we're supposed to use. It's called goat sweet, so it's for goats, right? But then we found out you give them oats, and they love it just as much. Well, maybe not just as much, but they'll eat it up just the same. So that's basically it for the feed. Other than, we'll go inside. And in choosing your hay, what you want to look at, it's dark in here. Oh, so turn on some lights. What you want to look at, I don't have well, I guess I do have an example. Back here we have put a bunch of hay in storage in here for the winter. So when you get into here, you want to dig right down in between the wafers here. You want to pull out some material, and you want to look at it, and you want to inspect it. Is it green? Is it dusty? Maybe you want to smell it a little bit, because if it is dusty or moldy, then that's not something you want to feed to your animals. This is nice and clean. It's a good mixture, and this is what you want. So we've got that back here all ready to go. We've got a bunch in the barn up front. And this has been a really tough year for hay. So we haven't gotten a lot of rain. This rain is great, but early summer, it's been a very dry summer. So it's hard to come by. And we haven't gotten quite as much hay as we did last year, but we still have a large surplus, which is perfect. And that's what you want to do. So grains. So these are grains that we get donated from a what is it? It's essentially a lab that tests grains for human consumption. And they get in a bag kind of like this from a batch, and they'll do testing, but they only use a little bit of it. So then they dump it into these larger bags, and they have to get rid of it somehow, so they get rid of it through us. So here we go. So this is wheat, and this is barley, and we have, what do we have? It's dark over here. Let me turn on this light. Here, we're trying to find good resourceful ways to hide material. These are the oats. So no molasses in here. They don't need to be rolled oats. These are just whole oats. And these ones, they do work good for treats, but oats they're also hard to come by this year. So not a whole lot of oats. So we're kind of saving that a little bit. And we've found, like these are your peas. But peas, what you have to do, because they're hard, you have to soak them to get the nutrients going in them, and of course for expansion, and they're hard, so they're not going to be able to be digested very easily. So what we're doing here is we're essentially fermenting the peas. You put the peas in and you fill it up with water and they'll soften. And it looks like, yeah, so these ones here have been done. So she's feeding these ones, and they are, they're not hard anymore. They're more squishy. I can actually break it up. So, so that's, and we were trying to figure out a use for peas. There we go. You just have to ferment them and pre-process them. Salt licks. So we've got a salt lick here. This one here is a cobalt salt. And then there's a trace mineral salt. You got all kinds of different salts on the market. This is where Sheldon goes in the evening. So right now he is out at a petting farm at a company called Bueller. I'm not sure if it's Bueller Furniture or Bueller Equipment. Here's a smaller one here, and this one is a trace mineral. So this is very important in the summertime that they have salt around, because what it does is it helps absorb water so they don't dehydrate. And these guys here have a big bin of a mixture of different grains that we put in there. So we have stopped using chicken feed altogether. And we have had a healthy flock, so there's been no concerns about not having that medicated food. Somebody had asked, do these animals ever get to go outside and see sunshine? Well, they head out that door right there whenever they see fit, with the exception of the winter time. So we close that off in the winter time, and they remain inside this area. I see a peafowl egg right there. Now, this one over here has been sitting on eggs for, I want to say 3 weeks. So if she's going to hatch some out, it's late. But hey, we'll take some pea chicks. They're very hard, just like turkeys. Turkeys can be very difficult to, they're just so sensitive, and you've got to keep them at the right temperature and really take care of them. Make sure their area is very clean, or else you lose them. Hey, bud. Hey, Marley. I'm going to get inside because it's raining. Oh, no, don't leave. Here, look. Look what I got. What do you want? Oh, stop it, Billy. We share. You want another one? Okay, here. You share. Why don't you tell your dad to come in? He's just hanging out there. Marley. Okay, well here, let's keep you busy. And then we'll give Marley one. Good job, Marley. Another one? You're smaller, so they should have more than you, because we want to feed you in moderation. So just, whoop. Oh, come on. Come on. See what I did? Okay, you got to keep your fingers clear. So ideally, you know, open palm, right? Right? What is that? Oh, you're gonna have another one? We don't do that here. So, another classic reason why you shouldn't feed by hand. But I know what to expect. Visitors that come in don't know what to expect, and they think, hey, well, it'd be really neat to feed some animals, some stuff. Oh, Billy. Billy. Oh, don't spit at her or I won't give you any more. That's just mean. They don't usually spit. Of course, Shadow's got her butt turned to Marley, so she's like, hey, you just try it again. Oh, and Willow gave... Ah! You girls, you're telling Marley what for, eh? Oh, and she bumps him into the fence. Good thing the electric fence isn't on, because Marley would have got zapped. Hang on, I gotta pick a right-sized one here. Okay. So I don't do this all the time. I don't hand feed all the time. Usually we'll just go out and throw them. These girls are good, of course. They don't jump up on you, because that would be horrible. What do we got? We got a couple more left. Here you go, Shadow. Billy, here, I'll give you a cucumber. Take a cucumber. Here. Whoops, sorry. I had to switch to palm. Willow, down, stay. Gonna train your goat. Train your goat. No, sit. Sit, stay. Oh, rain, 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 rain. Yeah, Carl's in here. Hey, Carl. Here, look what I brought you, buddy. Look what I brought you. Oh, look. Do you like cucumbers? Oh, you do? Good boy. Oh, maybe not. Well, how about broccoli? Do you like broccoli better? Oh, there. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Maybe. No. Oh, you're such a picky boy. You're such a picky boy. You don't want any of this. Look, Billy's gonna eat it. Billy will eat anything. Oh, boy. Oh, boys. Here, Carl. Here, try it again. Do you want, like, some seasoning on it? Okay, Billy. Oh, actually, no, you've had a bunch. Let's give it to Marley. Marley hasn't had a whole lot. Poor boy. Oh, there you go. Yeah. All right, there's a piece of broccoli in there. Here, you gonna eat the broccoli? Here, I'll give you the broccoli. No. Oh, we found something that Carl, our Billy doesn't like. Well, I think Marley will eat it. Oh, yeah, there you go. Good job, Marley. Yes. And that's it. That's all that we have. It was quite an excursion, but we're empty. We're empty. Oh, Marley. Oh, kids. You guys arguing, eh? That's it. All gone. Look, Marley. All gone. Now, Marley had an eye infection, so it looks like he's got a little bit of goobers on that left eye of his. So we're going to have to check that out and treat it. Get that flushed out when the girls come back. So to recap on what we discussed here, moderation is key. So always watching their poop to make sure that they are healthy and cutting back as required. Keep grains away from rumen stomach animals. Only give them in moderation. Mainly we use those for the birds. But we do call the animals in and put out some oats for them to kind of pick at. It is September now, so we're starting to see pumpkins appear everywhere in time for Halloween. Now, pumpkins, the seeds especially inside pumpkins, are a great dewormer. So we don't do any kind of chemical deworming here. It's all done naturally in different ways. So if we don't have to, we stay away from that. The alpacas are the only ones that get a shot during the summer months, and that is due to a virus that is carried by deer. And it is meningeal worms, I believe how it is called, meningeal worms. And that's something deer carry, and there's not a lot of deer that hang out around in our area because it is fenced in, but we do get some jumping over the fence at the back. And basically when they're eating off the ground, they can eat some of the deer poop and of course get those worms. So that's the one thing that we do treat here on the farm that is not a natural way of doing it. Christmas time, last year, I think it was December 23rd, December 24th, Christmas Eve, one of the stores in the city, Superstore, put out that they're giving away Christmas trees. So Tara headed down there and picked up, I don't know, it had to have been about 8 or 10 trees. And if you look over here, you will see the remainder of one of the trees there. So what that does is it is a natural dewormer as well. The pine needles are very acidic, but again, moderation. So especially for pregnant does. So you want to make sure that you're just not throwing a bunch of trees in there, getting rid of all the inventory maybe that if you were selling trees. So what we did is we put one in every kind of week or 2 weeks, depending on how we saw they were eating that. We would give them a grace period in between to make sure that they got a balance of, you know, greens and grasses and then pine needles. So I think I've covered everything there. There were a few other questions. I think I got all of them. And that's it on this rainy day here in Nola, Manitoba. So that's it. I'm going to go and head off and do a few projects, work on those, and I'll be putting out a video specifically on one of the projects. And hopefully I'll have that out probably the week after the fall farm tour, which is going to be coming up within the next two weeks, I think it is, fall. Wow, how summer flies. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and welcome to all the new subscribers. I've been getting comments saying that they love the content that I'm putting out, and any questions or ideas that you have that I can add into my videos be greatly appreciated. That's it for this week. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next video. Take care.